Hey, it's Dick Burroughs, and I am here with my man Amir Abdullah.
What up?
What up? What up? What up? So, this is for Cover Lover Remix. This is a interview I'm doing with Amir for Cover Lover Remix. Cover Lover Remix is a art exhibition. It features artists remixing their favorite and iconic album covers. Thinking about how album covers work, I've always been a fan, always been in love with album covers. But also in that genre, I've always just, we've always been in love with vinyl and just what the actual sort of records always meant. I always thought that the actual record, the album cover art, and then the liner notes was like this holy trilogy of how you could understand and sort of grasp or try to grasp what the artist was trying to give to you. A lot of that was lost when album covers sort of when albums in general, was overtook by CDs and, MP3s and streaming, blah, blah, blah. But now we have bounced back, so it is a real vinyl revolution. Talking about a revolution. But that's come back all the way. So now with the programming for the exhibition, we're talking to some amazing people that are doing amazing things in the vinyl record community. And that's why we're talking to Amir. So Amir, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
So what I did to Berlin. So how's Berlin popping?
Berlin is getting a little better since the last time I talked to you. They're starting to ease up a little now, just because the numbers have been going down. Right. So it is becoming a little better. I wish the weather would cooperate with us, but that's a story for another time.
Oh, what was it? Kind of rainy out there?
It's not kind of rainy. we're not gonna see this. It feels like it's Noah's Ark time. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna see the sun for like at least 10 days. The weather forecast is just rain for straight 10 days. Gray clouds, all of that.
Wow.
And that's kind of like how it is here a lot. It's gray, it's dark. It's depressing sometimes.
Right, depressing. Yeah, I mean that's how I think. They always say that in those environments, a lot of amazing art comes from that. Because, people, for one, don't have time to, frolic and run around Central Park.
Right.
And, it's not like a sunshine-based sort of existence.
It's not the sunshine state. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. But I know that you've been in Berlin now for what? 2 years? 3 years?
3 years. Yeah, time flies, brother. Time flies.
So you're in Berlin. So what do you miss overall about New York?
Oh man, I miss the food. You know what I mean? Like just getting, like a real slice of pizza. People here are always talking about, oh, this is the best pizza in Berlin. And I'm like, I'm always giving them the face, like this ain't pizza, man. You ain't had pizza until you had a New York slice. Yeah. I've had a slice even in Italy. And that don't even compare to, like, for me, a New York style pizza.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like New York style pizza, I mean, just even my seasonings, because I like to cook.
Right.
You know what I mean? My adults seasoning or whatever, you know what I mean? I can't even get any of that, because here in Berlin, they don't really, they can't really take spice.
Oh, right.
So most of the restaurants, they'll tell you that they dumb down the spices.
Right.
The only spices that they really offer here is that you can get any kind of curry you want, but I'm so curried out, man. I'm just like, yo, give me something else, Right. And I just miss real conversation with, my real people. You know what I mean? Like just being able to, not have to explain. Well, in English this means, or you know what I mean? Like I ain't got to do none of that.
You got to think too hard out there.
Yeah, my brain hurts, man.
I know that we all have, worldwide, we've been going through the pandemic. So,
yeah, man.
How has that sort of impacted your life out in Berlin? Like, what was your life like, and how's it changed since the pandemic?
I mean, when it first happened, man, like the first week that they closed everything down here in March, I had a week's worth of gigs in London, which all got canceled. Oh. So, like everybody else, I lost a lot of money. I was kind of freaking out because I'm in if I'm at home, okay, all right, I can figure this out.
Right.
But I'm in a different country. I don't speak the language.
Right.
So I had to really navigate that. And that was really hard in the beginning, man. It was really kind of like, oh shit, what do I do?
Right.
You know what I mean? But then I just like stuck to it and just say, hey, you know, I'm gonna get through this. Just got to figure out, pray to God, you
Right.
know, do what you got to do spiritually.
Right.
So things have been a little better now, but I mean, you know, it definitely was tough in the beginning financially. Since the beginning of the pandemic, I've moved like 4 times.
Right. Wow.
Because, you know, unlike in New York or in the States, you know, if you're an artist, it doesn't matter if you're an artist or a freelancer or whatever, as long as you can pay the rent,
Right.
you know,
You
you'll
good
have
money.
a place, you good money. Here, you got to have a job contract, like a contract from your employer saying he
Employee.
or she works for me.
That
You
you're
know
an
what I mean?
employee from
Like,
somewhere. Right.
yeah, exactly. Whereas, you know, like I'm a freelancer, so I can give you an invoice, but landlords won't take that.
Right.
They only want to see a rental contract. So like I've just, you know, I've been subletting, and a lot of people here, because they can get the pick of their litter, they were like, oh, I'll just rent to you for like a month or 2 months or 3 months. And so I'm like doing a lot of that. And it's so competitive there because everybody wants to move here.
Right. Right.
Like how it was when in Brooklyn, everybody was like showing
Right.
up, popping up at Brew, like, hey, I love Brooklyn. Where you from? I'm from Brooklyn. No, you're not.
Right.
I've been there I was there for 25 years, and I would never say I'm from Brooklyn. You know, I'm from Boston by way of Brooklyn, you know, from Brooklyn by way of Boston.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you got people from Idaho talking about like, dude, I love Brooklyn.
Right.
But, you know, but so that's what it was. I mean, you know, right now I'm just trying to wait to get my vaccination shot because
all right,
you know, they've been really slow about rolling that out.
Right.
You know, not like in the States where I heard you can just go to McDonald's and get a shot, basically.
Well, you know, in perfect New York form, someone in Long Island was busted for selling counterfeit vaccination cards.
Really?
Bootleg vaccination cards that
I shouldn't be surprised about that in the first place because this is New York. Why am I even surprised about that?
Bong. I made a post about that.
I mean?
I made a post about that almost at the beginning of it when the vaccinations was first being spoke about, and I was like, someone's going to be bootlegging them off the rip because they was having them in CVS and Rite Aids and stuff like that. And, you know, just in a drawer somewhere. And, you know, some dude just snatched them up and was like, you know, for money, you know, here's your vaccination card, you know, so you can just travel and the world is back open to you again. But he got caught. When it comes down to, you know, vinyl, I know that you said a lot of the work has stopped on the DJ side. But I know that, you know, your work with vinyl goes far deeper than just DJing. So you also have been a producer, you're a musicologist. You was formerly working with the magazine Wax Poetic.
Yep.
Like, what's the thing that you really what about vinyl really do you really just so enjoyable?
You know, honestly, you know, I'm 51 this year, so like for me, growing up collecting music, that's all you had was vinyl.
That's it.
So I got into it because my father, my mother, my brothers and sisters, you know, they all had records. They all had their own individual music. You know what I mean? And I got into it because, you know, looking up to them, you know what I mean? And then when I got old enough and instead of taking a lot of my money and buying candy as a kid, I went to Woolworths because Woolworths back in the days used to sell vinyl. So I would go there and get my sundae at the counter. And then going over there and go get some vinyl. You know what I'm saying? I was mostly buying stuff that I was seeing in my brother and my sister's collection.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then from there, no one taught me to go look in the back of the record and look at the pictures and look who played on the record, you know, who played what, who produced it. You know, that was something that was just intuitive in me. And it just stuck with me and it has stuck with me ever since then. So for me, vinyl is like, you can't get a better sound than vinyl. Yes. I don't care if you have your music recorded in a multi-million-dollar studio on CD or digital, it's never going to sound the same like a nice Blue Note record that was mastered by one of the best, you know, Rudy Van Gelder. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll never get it like that. You know?
Right. And I would imagine that it was your love for vinyl that led you to the project that you do with Strata Records.
Yeah. I mean, for instance, you know, like the way I got to Strata was a friend of mine from Cali. this is back in the days when I was working in the music industry. I had gotten a box of promos of the Common Sense 12-inch The Bitch in You. And at the time it was valued a lot. And so he had heard I had a copy. So he was like, yo, I'll trade you for something. I was like, for what? He was like, this record's Lyman Woodard Organization on Strata Records. I'd never heard of this before. I was like, I was getting, wanted to be like, but I had a box of them. So I was like, you could take that shit. He sent me the record and I was like, yo, are you sure you want to give me this for that? Because this shit is incredible, dude. Like, and then on the back of the record, it has like 4 or 5 records that are supposedly came out. So I started looking for all of those. So that was my introduction to Strata. And then later on, when I got to Wax Poetics, I ended up contacting Lyman Woodard, reissuing that record through Wax Poetics. And then before I left, I found the owner of Strata. And when I left, I was like, I'm going to go and start my own label. And I did a deal with the owner of Strata Records. And I've just been doing that ever since, man. Like, reissuing the records that came out and then also releasing records that never came out. And when I say never came out, I'm talking about, you look at the master, some of them just only had a name, no names of the songs, not a year when it came out, none of that. So then I had to like either do research or like listen to the song and make the name of the song out of the chorus. You know what I mean? And then like make artwork out of it, because there was no artwork for it either.
And that's important because Cover Lover Remix is all about the album cover art. And sometimes everyone's been way guilty of picking up records just based on the album cover. Don't even know what's inside yet.
No,
the cover is knocking you like.
The cover speaks to you.
It speaks to you, so that you get a feeling about what's actually contained inside by what sometimes you swing and you miss. It'd be a dope cover, and you get the record, and you're like, "This is a dub right here. This is garbage,
garbage."
But so what are some of the projects that you've done with Strata Records?
Okay, well, I'll start on with the recent one. I literally just came back from the studio. We just finished, myself and Jazzanova. So like the project is called Strata Records, The Sound of Detroit, reimagined by Jazzanova. Nice. For those that don't know, Jazzanova is like a DJ producer collective from Germany, legendary dudes, been remixing a lot of stuff over the years. I've known those guys for a while, and I approached them during the pandemic as a way of, trying to stay creative.
Right.
To take 10 songs from the Strata catalog and have them reimagine them.
Okay.
And so we just finished like literally recording that. We're gonna mix it down next week. So to me, that's like one of the biggest projects I personally have been involved in.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Because Jazzanova, like I know they're big in America, but they're like huge here.
No, Jazzanova is definitely a known quantity.
Yeah.
And they're definitely, they remind me of when people were really, it reminds me a bit about like Giant Steppish.
Yeah, exactly. It's that whole era. That whole era and vibe. So that's like the biggest thing. And I just did like 2 weeks ago, I dropped the best of Strata Records compilation. So I chose, because no one knows besides the owner, the catalog like I do.
Right.
So I just picked a range of stuff that I thought best represented the catalog. So that's available digital right now until we can get the vinyl out next year.
On all platforms is available.
Yeah, it's on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, you name it. It's on all of them.
Nice.
And then I've been producing, so I did some remixes from the original stems, because I have some of the stems transferred from the Strata catalog.
Oh, okay.
So it's another way to reimagine the catalog. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To a newer audience, instead of like the cheese eating wine crowd, jazz people.
Right.
I want to sell to them too, but I also want to get our people, in our age group. Get a new audience. Exactly. So I've been doing a lot of that. And I think the last thing is I'm really working hard on this Strata film documentary. Writing and treatment. So I actually just spoke to a writer last night. And so, it's just basically about the history and the legacy of Strata Records, which is from Detroit. Not Strata East from New York. They're related, but separate entities, right?
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of people that were involved in the label helping with its success was John Lennon and Yoko Ono, you know, and I'm in the process of trying to get a hold of her, but I heard she's like 87 and in a wheelchair right now. But her son, Sean, helps her deal with things. So them, John and Lenny Sinclair, who are both like, you know, famous activists in the Detroit area, you know, so there's a lot of history besides the music that people would be like, wow, I didn't know that. Like, that's crazy. How did I not know that? You know what I mean? I want to expose this history to Americans, especially Black Americans, because it came from Black Americans, our experience.
Our experience, right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, and the owner and a few other people from the label, they're in their late 80s, man. And so they're getting old and not feeling well. So I want to get these stories told before it's too late.
Before it's too late. Right.
You know what I mean? And that happens a lot in our community, man. We wait and things are gone, and you know, then we're kicking ourselves afterwards.
Yes.
You know, so
especially for like
that's what I've been up. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been up to. You know, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
You know.
Yeah. And that's a great contribution to the culture. Because I think that, you know, the sort of influence that jazz has had for more of a modern, younger sort of generation X and down, I guess, you know, has come from hip hop's usage of jazz samples.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's always been big.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like jazz wouldn't have had a resurgence itself if it wasn't for hip hop. If it wasn't for like Tribe Called Quest and Gang Starr, you know what I mean? Like you just name it, you know, Large Professor, all these cats, they were all sampling jazz. You know what I mean? People got away from James Brown for a minute. I mean, they probably still using it for drum loops, but the actual samples, people were really digging in the crates. For a lot of great jazz stuff, and exposed a lot of people to jazz records that they necessarily probably wouldn't have been exposed to if it wasn't for hip hop. Hip hop, a lot of people owe a lot to hip hop. Period. Period. In so many different ways. Myself included.
Agree. I agree completely. I agree completely. You know? That's a real, you know, for a genre that, as KRS said, was supposed to be a passing hope or a phase with a rope. Right? So, you know, in the last question, won't you give me your 3 favorite album covers?
Okay, so I'll start with number 3 this time. I would say my third favorite vinyl album cover, and it's not really the front cover, it's really the back cover. The front cover is dope too, but it's Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. Back cover, if you know anything about New York history from that time, they were all gangsters, killer, like real dudes, like the real 50 Cent is on the back of there, you know, rap, you know, all those dudes from the Paid in Full posse were all on there, you know what I mean? And it's just like, that picture to me just represents that era to the fullest.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't wearing Dookie ropes back then, but you know, I had my acid wash jeans.
Right.
You know, I had my top 10 Adidas, you know, like we were all, that was the era. You know what I mean?
That was the era.
So whenever I look at that record, it brings back so many different memories for me. And besides the fact that's one of the greatest albums ever to me.
Yes, it is.
Ever recorded. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like,
it is.
So that would be number 3 for me. Number 2 would be the Lyman Woodard organization Saturday Night Special record. And the reason why that is because when I got to meet Lyman, he told me the story about the cover. The cover is basically a picture of a 25 gun. It's on a bedspread. So there's a 25 gun, the gun clip, a clip of money, a book of matches, and some change. And it's an iconic cover because every time I made t-shirts out of it, everybody's like, yo, what is that? So he was like, one time I was coming home from a gig and this photographer was behind me and I just emptied out my pockets and threw it on the bedspread. And she just came behind me and took a picture of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the album is probably my favorite jazz funk record ever.
That's dope.
It just represents the sound of Detroit perfectly
to a T.
You know what I mean? To a T. Like if you know anybody from Detroit, they're like, yeah, that album is lo-fi, gritty, and tough. That's Detroit. And I'm like, all right, that's what's up.
Right.
And I think my number 1 is Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions, just because that was the first record when I was like probably 5-6 years old, probably could say a few words here and there, you know what I mean? My brother used to play that record all the time, and I used to just sit there and stare at the cover.
That's an amazing
Get lost in that cover. You know what I mean? It just so much going on. Yeah, so much going on. And as a little kid, man, you're looking at the drawings and you looking at it's just like to me, I thought that was like the bee's knees, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, so that just for memory's sake, to me, that's like the number one for me.
That's a super dope. That was 3 dope choices. And by the way, happy birthday, Stevie Wonder, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right, man.
Right.
I'm glad he's still with us.
Me too, brother. Me too.
Because we done lost a lot of them.
We have.
You know?
And okay, so this Amir Abdullah. This is Cover Lover Remix coming to you live. Exhibition opening July 15th at Nova Club. Abdullah, was dope talking to you. I will post this on the website and post it on the socials. And as we get closer to the exhibition, I'll see how I can pull you in on some more things.
Yeah, that would be great, man. Plus, man, hopefully at some point in time we can, meet up at Brew again, have a drink like we used to.
Have a good beer, right?
Exactly, brother.
Right.
Well, stay well and stay safe, brother.
Hold
Peace,
it down,
my man.
Hold it down in Berlin, bro.
All right, cool, man.
All right, cool.
Peace, brother.
Peace.